Good morning, everybody. So we hear this week that the Johnson regime is supposedly giving us back our freedoms. Well, that's not the way to look at it. I am not at all grateful or thankful to the Johnson regime. They have brutalized this country over the last 2 years. We've been living in tyranny, particularly in the times when there were lockdowns and the police went in with their batons drawn against peaceful protesters for freedom. People were harassed and fined and abused by the police for sitting in a park with their friends or having a coffee morning with their friends or going to church or wanting to see their loved ones. And many people's loved ones have died alone in hospital because of what they've done over the last 2 years, with, of course, the help of Labour and the SNP. So it's not the right way to look at it, to be thankful for supposedly getting our freedoms back, which is how this is being spun by the regime and the mainstream media. Look, I'm glad that we're not living under a jackboot anymore for now. But you never know when this is going to come back. And we have to realize that this is a global rollout of a program designed by the World Economic Forum and the other people that are in cahoots with them to impose vaccine passports, which are essentially the digital identity and social credit control system, which will replace cash with central bank digital currency. And then the government will be able to completely control your finances and what you spend your money on, when you can spend it and what you can spend it on. And we see that happening in Canada now. I mean, we've rode back a little bit in England, I think, due to the fantastic pressure of freedom protesters going out month after month after month, protesting these repugnant rules. Through people praying in the spiritual realm, because this is a spiritual battle as well as a political battle and a legal battle and a media battle. It's all those things together. And also the embarrassment of Partygate and all the hypocrisy that has come out about the people who are making rules, flagrantly breaking those rules and not being worried about a deadly virus, which they were trying to make everybody else afraid of. So this has been seen now, but still in other places around the world, different regimes controlled by the World Economic Forum, who have got their people embedded in governments, as they say, and you can see that, are pushing forward with tyranny, especially in Canada. And it's very disturbing to see how police are suited up like paramilitaries and going in, sticking their jackboots into women, men, children in the streets there. And this is absolutely disgusting. And they've now introduced this emergency legislation that says that they can freeze and seize the assets in the bank accounts of people who have opinions they don't like. So if you support freedom, they say they're going to go and take the money out of your bank accounts or freeze it so you can't use it. This is the social credit system in action, and that hasn't even been implemented fully yet. We don't want it. And we have to keep standing up against this. Don't get a digital identity. Don't comply with the plans to remove cash and get everybody onto a social credit system. But in England here with the Johnson regime, and to a larger extent also the other parts of the UK, they're still pushing through really dangerous legislation to put in place an infrastructure for a future tyranny. Again, the police crime courts and sentencing bill, the online harms bill, online safety bill. And both of those things together are going to criminalize what is now lawful protest in many cases and lawful opinions. The online safety bill creates a category of opinion which will be deemed legal but harmful. And then they will require social media platforms to deplatform you, and potentially you will be named, shamed, who knows what else will happen to you fined or something for so-called spreading disinformation. And who decides what disinformation is? I mean, anybody who believes that, you know, women can have male anatomy, for example, and then accuse other people of spreading disinformation are, you know, absolutely ludicrous people, and they're utter hypocrites as well. Who decides what's disinformation? It's basically just a way of the government closing down and shutting down and cancelling people who have got opinions that they don't like, who challenge the government narratives and pull them apart. And they need to be pulled apart on many of the things that they've said, because all along over the last 2 years, they've pumped the narrative that we need lockdowns, we need to wear masks, we need to take experimental injections. And then when people point out these things are experimental and they could be very dangerous, and look at all the people who are dying of heart attacks who have had injections, and then they accuse everybody of spreading disinformation. Well, no, we need to keep speaking out and trying to protect people from being taken in and deceived by the government's misinformation. And of course, they will accuse everybody else of doing exactly the same thing that they're doing themselves. And this goes for whether it's the fake Conservatives, Labour, or the SNP. You know, I've set the Heritage Party up to stand for freedom and to stand for the traditional values and principles of this nation, which are good and which can get us back to where we should be. And please do come and join us if you're interested in fighting on a political level. Look us up on heritageparty.org. But if you're interested in fighting on those other levels, please do keep on fighting. And God bless you all. Just know where we are and keep your eyes open.